There's a quiet that comes down when the darkness suddenly comes.
It was like you could feel the shadow coming over you.
The air was so clear that we could just see these streaks moving huge distances across the sky.
You feel it in a way that feels so different. The images don't do it justice.
And then you're just sort of locked in.
When you experience an eclipse, you feel that connection with space.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, look at the ray structure!
The universe is out there and it's affecting us. We are in space.
And here it comes, there's the diamond ring. And that is the most spectacular sight.
If you haven't seen it, you haven't seen anything.
Okay, so let's take a look at today's path of totality. It passes through parts of Mexico, 15 U.S. states, and southeastern Canada. There's an estimated 32 million people who live along the path, and not to mention the tens and thousands of people who travel to somewhere along it as well, like us. You know, you're from D.C. and I'm from Florida.
I feel very lucky to be able to get to travel to see this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have live reports from our correspondents spread out across the path, all excited to share this event with you. Some recognizable locations in between: the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the famous Indy 500, and then also Niagara Falls, where officials expect up to 1 million visitors. Look at our team there waving at you. Happy to see you guys, and we'll hear from you soon.
Joy, things are looking absolutely fabulous in a very sunny downtown Russellville, Arkansas. As she said, I'm NASA's Jasmine Hopkins, and I am coming to you live from the Depot District, where the city is throwing a massive block party, all in celebration of the total solar eclipse. Now, people in Arkansas have great reason to celebrate because this is only the second total solar eclipse visible from the state since it was first established in 1836, and the next one visible from here won't happen for another 2 decades. So people around me are gearing up for what feels like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, it's not just the residents of Russellville that are excited. On average, the city has about 29,000 residents, but for the past 8 months, they've been preparing to receive upwards of 100,000 tourists right here in the city. Now, of course, NASA has been a big part of that preparation, so to show you what we've been doing to help, I have a video here to show you. So we have been talking to the next generation of space explorers right here in Arkansas. We started off at Arkansas Technical University, and then we moved on to Russellville City Schools, where we spoke to hundreds of students all the way from 8th grade to 12th grade about this total solar eclipse. We had NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, the Arkansas Air National Guard, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, and even the Paris Observatory joining us all the way from France. Now, during that moment of totality, Arkansas will experience from 94 to 100% obscurity from the sun, and we'll have 4 minutes and 12 seconds to really soak in that fantastic cosmic event. Now, until that moment, of course, we are telling the residents to stay safe, keep those solar eclipse glasses on. But now let's go from Arkansas to Illinois with Blair Allen. How are things looking for you?
I've seen several partial eclipses, but there's something mystical and mysterious and in some ways unifying about a total eclipse, and we're all going to feel it together.
Absolutely. We could not have lucked out more on this weather today. So as a former astronaut, we know that sun science and space weather are very important to keeping our astronauts safe. What is space weather, and why do we care about it? What is NASA doing to study it?
Yeah, that's right. It's actually very important. It is of concern for astronauts who are in space because they experience the radiation of the sun that comes from solar flares and solar weather. But the reality is it's also affecting life here on Earth. It impacts the upper reaches of our atmosphere called the ionosphere, which is an electrified part of our atmosphere that is a conduit for communications. It's critical because the sun's atmosphere is millions of degrees hotter than the surface of the sun. So we are hoping to learn today more about how that happens and why that happens so that we can better predict those solar flares and those things that impact us here on Earth.
Yeah, that's all extremely important and something that we're learning a lot today, too. Pam, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
As we've learned, solar eclipses are very important to learn for many, many reasons. We have radio telescope operators who are studying the eclipse today for this very reason. Let's take a look at that work.
See Pam Melroy on your last clip, a dear friend of mine, so it was nice to see Pam's face over there. But when we're heading out to the sun, it's really radiation is our big thing that as we're heading out to the moon.
Yeah.
It's really the solar
sun.
radiation that we're most thinking about there as the danger from the sun, and the Apollo astronauts dealt with it, and we've dealt with it for a long time on the International Space Station, and we have a lot of data from the moon, from our NASA probes that have gone out there and collected, so we think we know what we'll encounter.
Great, okay. And tell me, Reed, how does it feel to be the commander of NASA's first crewed mission going back to the moon since Apollo?
I'm flying with Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen, the
Dream team, yes.
I know, so every day that I go into work, I won't say every day is easy, but every day is fun, and I'm flying with people that have principles, they have integrity, and they have just so much knowledge and professionalism. It's a dream come true. And getting to work with the whole team, the international team, it's the best.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Reed. You know, really quickly, do you have any advice for anybody that might want to follow in your footsteps one day?
We always say that you have to find that job that you love, go all in on it, live your best life, be as good of a professional as you can, and someday apply for the program. And we look forward to seeing your application come across our desk.
Thank you, Reed, and good luck on your upcoming mission.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Now, if anybody feels like reaching for the stars, NASA is actually currently accepting applications to be an astronaut. You could one day travel to the moon and eventually to Mars. From teachers to scientists to even those in our armed forces, we are looking for a diverse group to take humanity farther into the cosmos.
Time there, you can hear the birds chirping in that shot as well in the gardens. Absolutely beautiful. We got a bunch coming up in just a few moments here. Our next Eclipse path target here for the NASA broadcast is in Russellville, Arkansas. They're going to have a long window too, 4 minutes and 12 seconds. They're expecting that totality kickoff at 1:50:05 to be exact. Again, you can continue to track this with our Eclipse tool here. This is at go.nasa.gov/Eclipse Explorer. And you can see just how quickly it's moving. I'm playing this in real time. You can see that shadow. It's already moving very quickly to the northeast. And the fun isn't just for our friends on the path of totality, and there are a lot of people on that path of totality. About 31 million people reside somewhere on that path of totality. But there's a lot of people obviously outside of that path as well too. If I put on this overlay here for the percent coverage, a lot of folks, us included here in Florida, are experiencing that partial eclipse. As always, if you are in a partial eclipse, be sure to be wearing those eclipse glasses to protect your eyesight as you're viewing it. But you can see these bands here are greater than 75% view. So say you're watching up in, I don't know, Milwaukee here, for example. You've got a great view, almost 100% coverage. You're not quite at totality. 89.4%. Looks like you got good cloud cover there. 20% cloud cover. So hopefully you got a nice view up there as well, too. I've also put on this overlay here to show you just the amount of the duration of totality. You see a lot of our places are within this middle band right here that are getting more than 4 minutes. It may seem like a lot of time, but as you've seen just how quickly that can go by. Michael sounds like he wrote his whole dissertation, a 5-year piece on those just few moments there. This just passes so quickly. And again, if you miss this, the next time you're going to have to wait for this in the US is not going to be until 2045. So again, make sure you're previewing exactly when to expect that peak time of coverage wherever you are in our path of totality or even outside of that path of totality. So a lot coming up very soon. Again, our friends in Russellville look like they have great coverage there as well too. Only 9% cloud cover, so hopefully they're getting a really nice view. But let's check in with Jasmine up there to see. Hopefully you're looking good for there. How's it looking up in your way up in Russellville?
I'm just looking this way.
Everything is looking absolutely fabulous here in Russellville. We could not have asked for better weather. So we are back here in the downtown depot area, and joining us now is heliophysics expert Dr. Patrick Kane, all the way from DC. How are you feeling about your very first total solar eclipse?
I'm incredibly excited. As I'm watching all of the changes, there go the crowd. as I'm watching all of the changes, I'm thinking back to the textbooks that I've read, and this is, so it was all academic before. This is no longer academic.
Yeah, so the feeling is very different than what we might read in a textbook. Patrick, just explain, describe the atmosphere around us as it's changing.
Right now, as I'm looking around, of course, the temperature has been falling for the last 20 or 30 minutes, but the light is dimming, and it's dimming faster and faster and faster. It seems like it's accelerating. The crowd is definitely getting excited. I'm looking around the ground to see if I see the shadow snakes. I don't, but this is just really exciting.
It really is. Honestly, like you said, we're feeling that cooler weather.
Yeah.
The crowd behind us just erupted. We're also feeling them fall a little bit quieter, too.
Right.
So we're going to take a beat of silence as we get into totality. I think we're less than about 15 seconds away. So we're going to also look over our shoulder with our solar eclipse glasses still on until we are in totality. Here we go. Just a sliver of the sun left.
Getting close. Crowd's getting excited.
The crowd, all around us, completely electric.
Going. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Here we are.
Here we go.
And the crowd goes wild.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
We got some Bailey's beads. Oh,
absolutely stunning.
That is spectacular. We see Venus over to the side there.
And Patrick, it came and went so quickly, but we did see a diamond ring at the very beginning there. Can you describe to us what is that?
Sure, that diamond ring effect is due to the moon not being perfectly smooth. It's got mountains, it's got valleys. So just like here on Earth, when we see a sunrise or a sunset through a valley, we just watched a sunset through a valley on the moon.
Absolutely stunning.
Oh my.
So you said we could see one planet. I see it right there in the sky. Can we see any others as we're looking up?
Yeah, we've got Venus on the over to one side. We've got Jupiter up here to the left of the sun. And there's the corona.
Absolutely beautiful.
That is spectacular.
Now, you also said that this is happening during what we're calling a solar maximum. Now, Patrick, does that mean that the sun is stronger right now than normal?
Not so much stronger, just more dynamic. It's changing a lot. During solar maximum, the magnetic field on the sun is more chaotic, it's more disorganized. So you see more random directions for the jets of gas leaving the sun.
Right.
That is spectacular. We could see a stream.
All right, we are reaching that halfway mark already, 2 minutes into totality.
There's even just a hint of a diamond ring down at the bottom.
I can see it. Yeah, we're looking at a diamond ring from Arkansas, the Diamond State. Now, Patrick, of course, as we've been talking about it, this is part of what we are calling the heliophysics big year. You are a heliophysics extraordinaire all the way from Washington, D.C. So what does that mean?
Okay, so the heliophysics big year started out in October of last year with the annular eclipse. And of course, we take a pause here in the middle to watch this particular eclipse, but then it will end on December 24th of 2024 when Parker Solar Probe passes as close as it's ever going to get to the surface of the sun within 9 solar radii.
Oh, wow. And I'm sure that means a lot to you because you worked on Parker Solar Probe about 20 years ago during its inception. So tell us a little bit more about that.
I worked on a concept study for Parker Solar Probe back when I was a graduate student in around 2002 or so. And back then, the idea was for it to actually dive into the sun rather than orbit the sun. So it was going to be a sun dive.
Wow, that is fabulous. This must be a very full circle moment for you, right, Patrick?
This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. And that diamond ring has been Wait a minute. That's pink. What we are actually seeing is down into the chromosphere now of the sun. We're seeing a little bit deeper than the corona. I believe it's because of the pinkish color. We're looking down into the chromosphere, which is the next layer of the atmosphere of the sun down.
Oh, wow.
Wow. good.
This is like nothing we have ever seen here in Arkansas, and like nothing we will see for the next 2 decades, right, Patrick?
That's right. It's going to be 21 years before we see it again here. 2045.
All right, so as we are starting to exit totality, of course, we're going to be very careful with our eyes if needed. We're going to put those solar glasses back on, of course. And the crowd just erupting, falling quiet again as they watch this magnificent moment
I am
take
actually
place.
seeing bats splitting through the air.
Oh, wow. Well, we will be very careful then.
Well, yeah.
And why is that, Patrick? Again, those nocturnal animals are coming out, right?
As
They think
far
it's
as they're
nighttime.
concerned, it's nighttime. It's time to feed. So they're coming out to feed on all the mosquitoes we've been swatting.
Okay, got it. We'll be very careful for all those nocturnal critters around us right now.
All right. We are getting closer. Get ready to put those
All
glasses
right,
back
all right.
on.
We're putting those glasses back on. The crowd is,
my
wow,
God.
a second diamond ring seen from right here in
Beautiful.
Arkansas, the Diamond State. Absolutely stunning.
Outstanding.
Beautiful. Patrick, we're going to turn around now and just one question I really do have to ask you before we let you go is, are you Team Sun, Moon, or Earth?
I am Team Sun. Team Sun all day long.
Fantastic. I figured from a heliophysics expert like you. We want to thank the city of Russellville for hosting us, Arkansas Tech University, and our telescope feed operator, Joe Mattis. Thank you so much. Now, let's get back to James Traley over at Kennedy Space Center. James, back to you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jasmine. What have you guys had there? So you were just right here in Russellville. You can see that shadow has now officially moved off and is on our way to our next target, which is up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I am seeing a bit of that 360-degree sunset.
Yes, yeah.
That is really cool.
It's amazing. Even though we're in the total shadow
Right.
here, there's still the corona is still pretty bright.
It is incredibly bright.
You could read by the light of the corona.
I think I would have some trouble reading, but I probably could. I could technically read something. So, Eric. Oh, and actually, we have the International Space Station flying over right now, so they are actually seeing not one, but 2 views of the eclipse. They're able to see not just the moon passing in front of the sun, but they're also able to see the shadow of the moon passing over Earth, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, I can hardly imagine a view being better than the one we have right now, but if there is one, it's
probably on the space station.
It's from the space station for sure. Wow. So yes, they're able to take some pictures of that, and that is just incredible. Just incredible.
One of the things they told people to do if you're far away was to hear how nature changed, and it was interesting here. We're of course surrounded by a lot of people, just to hear their reaction when we went into totality.
It's true that humans and nature have not gotten quieter, but louder, I would say. But I mean, you can definitely hear the loudness has a different kind of character to it. There's almost like a, I mean, I don't know if wonder has a sound, but I think this might be it. Yeah.
Hushed awe.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, so we talked about this controversial but friendly competition. So actually, we asked you guys to vote. We have the results of that poll right now. Let us bring it up. Whoa! All right, congrats, Sarah. Congrats.
Thank you.
Team Earth,
Thank you.
26%. Team Sun, 26% as well. But Team Moon, 48%. Congrats, Team Moon.
Go
today.
Team Moon.
All right, again, thank you to everyone who participated. We were the real winners of today, though, those who got a show. But we're going to send it back over.
We are one of 100 billion stars in a vast galaxy, but for all of human culture on Earth, one sun that nourishes us all.
That is what stirs humankind. That's what unites us.
Experience the wonder, the beauty, and the power of our star.
One sun across space, time, and culture.
Let us continue the quest to unfold this universe. And let us continue to find unity in our discovery.